Hey, this is Irvin Griffin. And yesterday I put up a video from comments made on a recent online video in which Athena, formerly known as Ember in WWE, made about WWE creative. Of course, fellow Club Atlantis member Prince GMO had his own take on what was said. On what was said by Athena, and you can check that video, which I'll have the link to it down in the comment section if you want to see and read his comments. But I have my own saying on it, and I'll be back with that as soon as you read what she actually said from that interview. Let me say, after reading that comment, I'm not going to say Athena or Ember Moon is completely wrong. No. We've known there's been problems with WWE creative for several years. Here's the problem. If she wants to talk WWE, and she may have made reference to it, I didn't hear the whole interview. But if she wants to talk main roster, absolutely. But if she's talking NXT, which that's where the majority of her WWE career was on, then I have to look a little side-eye there because in NXT, let's be honest, she talked about Mandy Rose. And by the way, I don't think she was trying to put down Mandy Rose directly. But here's my thing on that. She wore some incredibly risque outfits herself that could be considered maybe inappropriate. I mean, let's be honest, some of those outfits was a bit cheeky, shall we say. Not that I personally mind that as a grown man, but let's be honest. I mean, if she's going to talk about Mandy Rose, that's always been her shtick. She's always put it out there. And she's always used her beauty as an asset. You can't knock her for that. And it's been successful for her. And let me stop right here and let me show you what I'm talking about with Ember Moon and why I see her point, but I have to say a bit of hypocrisy here. And again, I'm not going to say what Athena had to say was completely wrong. No, it's not. It's not. However, considering some of her own outfits, at least in the early day, her first NXT run and much of her main roster run, I don't think you're the one to be throwing shade at Mandy Rose, Athena. Though, as far as how creative does wrestlers. I mean, I've even pointed out several times, they really do not know how to write for non-white, non-American wrestlers, and even worse so for females, which thank goodness Tyson Kidd's there, because you imagine how bad as lackluster as it is at times, you imagine how worse it would be if he wasn't there. I mean, yeah, he along with the creative does take some shots for the failures, but you got to give him credit for the successes. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 38, and even the year before that, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, just to name a couple. But getting back to this, maybe the problem wasn't so much what you was wearing as the fact that Mandy Rose is succeeding right now is because Mandy Rose found a character that works for her. And that was the problem, always been the problem with Ember Moon or Athena. She never found that character that really worked for her. Although some of the blame does have to go on WWE Creative, unfortunately, that environment, basically, they try to make you turn into sugar, shall we say. Which really shouldn't be her job or any performer's job, but that's just how it is. Some have managed to do that, some haven't. Sometimes that's just how it goes. But the blame is strictly on what people, we're having a 2-hour debate over what we should wear. That's the least of the problems. Now, that's strictly on creative, but part of the reason you didn't succeed there, in my opinion, Miss Athena, you may want to look in the mirror as far as why your run didn't go as well as it could have. Yes, is management at fault? I'd say so. But if I can paraphrase part of a speech from the film Rocky Balboa, maybe it's because I just recently rewatched it, where he talks to his son, where he has a discussion with his son. He basically says, you know, it's not how hard you get hit. It's not how hard you hit. It's how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. Because in the end, and I'm paraphrasing the speech, but in the end, that's how winning is done. You'll find the most successful people in the world, and not just wrestling, any business, had to take a lot of hits along the way. Yeah, did they stand up for themselves when they needed to? Yes. But they didn't respond to everything. They didn't put the blame on everyone else. They took their blows and kept moving and kept pushing, kept digging. And eventually that's where they got to where they are. Some of the most successful people in the world in history. During times where, going personally as a black person, during times where everything was against us. Take it, civil rights era and such. Where everything and everyone, including even people who you think would have been in your corner, were against you, yet you succeeded. See Sasha Banks, for example. Bottom line is, I'm not saying she doesn't have a point, but I just feel like you need to look in the mirror, honey. Just my thoughts on that. And I actually liked Athena, Ember Moon. She was very talented, and it's a shame it didn't work out, but you can't blame everything on WWE Creative. I'm out.